Hello and welcome to another edition of Business Africa. I am Afolake Oyinloye. Coming up, digital boom as catalyst for Africa's economic growth. Zerban, the startup behind Mali's all-natural fruit juices. Congo-made sheep becomes national pride. The rise in digitization or growing internet economy might serve as a catalyst to boost the continent's overall economic growth. This is based on the fact that many digital investments are penetrating the African market and the significant efforts among local companies to progress into technologically based business models. A conference has been held in the Republic of Congo on digital convergence and new ways of using the internet for business purposes. Our journalist Carol Kwasi was on ground to report.
Internet, more than just bandwidth. Today, it's a whole economy with about 25% shares globally. In this world of digital migration, Africa should also play its part in order to benefit. This is the focus at the conference on new uses of smart internet that opened this Wednesday in Pointe-Noire, organized by SkyTech. This meeting is a springboard for internet solutions to support companies, particularly in terms of interconnectivity, security and storage of data. The more we train Africans in these new jobs, the more we'll prepare them for these new jobs. But at the same time, people who have jobs today will also take them to do professional training to appropriate these new jobs that are being created. However, several challenges must be overcome, including the development of infrastructure if this is to be achieved. Yes, Africa is ready for this digital transition. All infrastructures have been put in place for the emergence of the digital economy. All that's left is for people like you and me to start fully in this area. There is no doubt that the world today is defined by digital transformation, and the internet is at the heart of businesses in the competitive sphere of globalization.
Gildas Lobo, head of pre-sales PCCWG Africa, is here with us on set to speak further on this report we've just watched. Welcome to the program.
Bonjour.
Hello. Now, what are the economic prospects of digital transformation in Africa?
Before discussing the economic opportunities, I'd like to mention the hurdles facing the African continent currently, particularly in terms of infrastructure. There has been an underinvestment in recent years, and the infrastructure is sometimes dilapidated. They are also inadequate to meet the current needs on the continent. Secondly, the high cost of broadband internet access is a problem that must be solved because if people cannot consume, there will be no trade and thus no development. Also, the economic outlook for outsourced services and call centers. I am referring to the North African call centers, which are now highly developed thanks to digital development. Less companies have been able to relocate to North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa to reduce the cost of these elements. Then, mobile telephony, which is an extraordinary sector of development. It made substantial investments in recent years. These investments have made it possible to make up for the digital divide by enabling people to access broadband through mobile and internet, thereby encouraging exchanges between consumers. And there's a huge room for progress. The population is made of young people with entrepreneurial spirit. This is very important. Africa has a lot to contribute to the economic development of each country.
Now, what are the stakes of this transformation, knowing that each region has its own specifics?
The number one objective is to reduce the digital veil between the populations of each country. It must be said that Information communication technologies are very important sectors of development. Allowing access to the internet helps increase gross domestic product GDP, which benefits the country. This is one way of reducing poverty through e-learning, especially in rural areas where people have access to education and personal enrichment in terms of knowledge to develop in a country. These are major challenges for the development of the country and the well-being of every citizen.
So what's the way forward for Africa?
Alors, il faut savoir que l'Afrique, c'est un grand continent.
Africa is a large continent.
Il y a des régions plus développées que d'autres, mais en règle générale, le progrès passe par l'investissement de l'infrastructure.
Each solution is regionally adapted. There are more developed regions than others. But generally speaking, progress requires investments in local and international infrastructure. The aim is not only to give people broadband, but also to allow exchanges between African countries. Secondly, investment in infrastructure requires governments and regulators' involvement. For example, the initiative of the ASEP in Congo, which allows investment in cables to connect regions like the Congo and Chad. These are examples of initiatives. Private-public partnerships with the World Bank. I think that the North has a role to play in terms of partnership, so that African needs become global needs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Judas Lubo, for granting this interview.
Merci à vous.
Thank you.
When we come back, you'll find out how a young Malian agribusiness engineer is reclaiming the traditional method for all natural food juices. Right after this break, still with us.